Hi guys, it's Baby Peach, and we're back with another episode of Once Upon a Hallows Eve. Now, it's been a while since we've played it, but I figured I'd bring it on back, and it's October when I'm recording it. Let's hope it's October when I'm uploading it. But we'll see. Let's hop in there. Oh no. Do we not have a save file? Shoot. Okay, well. That freaking sucks. So, how about we just start over, I guess. So are you telling me that you managed to convince this girl to go with us? My best friend's head nods up and down, looking enthusiastically at our other friend. I know, I can't believe it either. Just imagine her hiking up a mountain. Just imagine all the facials and peels she's going to need afterwards to mend that skin. I roll my eyes at my friend's teasing. Malin smiles, facing me. Are you sure you really wouldn't mind the sunburns? I sigh, shrugging. The truth is, I don't really want to go hiking in a creepy old mountain. It's quite scary, and not to mention there must be a whole bunch of bugs in that place. Malin puts a hand on my shoulder, probably recognizing my worried face. Hey Lee, you're gonna love it, right? I just smiled back at her. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. My name is... we're gonna go with Lizzie for it. I can't believe that I'm already a graduating college student, and for a final out-of-town trip with my friends before we graduate, we've decided to do something different. How different? We'll see. Okay, sorry about that. The audio was coming out of the TV instead of the headphones. Okay, I said TV. We have our computer hooked up to a television for a monitor instead of like a computer screen. So like giant screen. The hard wet ground of the forest feels cold to my cheeks. Hard wet ground? I immediately stand up in shock, surprised at my current location. This turns out to be a very bad idea though, as I feel a jolt of pain course through my whole body. My right leg and arm in particular feel like they're burning. Ah! I crumple back down to the ground in a heap, sobbing. Looking around me, seeing the dense and dark forest, it feels almost surreal to be here. What am I doing here? I rack my brain for any hint or answer, and finally remembering my purpose for being here. My friends and I are on a hike to a popular mountain rest house. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I don't see my friends anywhere. Where could they possibly be? I dig out my phone in my pocket carefully, my arm still screaming to me in agony as I make the slightest of movements. I realize in horror that the cracked screen was an effect of what brought me here to this dilemma. A landslide? There was a landslide and we barely managed to avoid it. Help me, help! I glance at my cracked phone again, now feeling more desperate than ever. Darn, how am I supposed to make a call now? I decide to stay where I am, not minding the dirt on my beautiful dress. It hurts too much to move. A flash of lightning shocks me for a moment, and I immediately decide to run to the best of my abilities to the nearest shelter. Okay, but this lightning though, it's kind of beautiful. I don't know, it's pretty. It feels more like my whole body is on fire despite the cold mountain air. But I'm in the middle of a forest with an injured body and no means of communication. Where can I even find a shelter here? I don't know. I zigzag through the densely populated forest, trying to look for any path of sorts to follow. Sorry. Okay. So guys, I have I'm gonna hate myself later, but I have little bat wings. They kind of suck now. It's been all day, but I have little bat wings to go with my little bat wings. Okay, I zigzag through the densely populated forest, trying to look for any paths of sorts to follow. After a few minutes of searching, however, it becomes very evident to me that there's no hope to find a path here. Sobbing once more, I sit back down on the dirty ground, squeezing my arm tightly to stop the pain. No, Lizzie Lee. You can't stay here. You're gonna die in this cold. You have to go. Bracing myself for the pain, I force myself to stand up. I once feeling another painful jolt run up through my arm. Picking one direction, I decide to move forward and hope for the best. Lightning continues striking the sky. I wrap my good arm around my body, hoping that my own body heat would be enough to keep me from shivering too much. Rain has started to pour, and I'm feeling terribly cold. Right now, all I want to do is curl up and cry somewhere. I really need to find some shelter, though. After walking hopelessly for an hour, I noticed a decrepit-looking mansion up ahead. Decrepit? Are we for real? This looks pretty good to me. It looks really ancient. I think it may be haunted. Should I take a risk? Let's save. So I think what happened is I think we started playing this on the laptop and we're back on the computer now. So I think that's why the save files aren't here anymore, and that sucks because I thought it would go over, but I guess not. Take the risk. Let's freaking risk it. I got no choice. I have to seek shelter tonight or I'm gonna die from the cold. I limp towards the mansion, trying my hardest to calm my nerves. It's a pretty hard thing to do, especially when half your body is screaming in agony. Don't worry, Lizzie, you can make it. Despite looking very ancient, I'm starting to believe that there are actually people who live in this place. The grass seems well trimmed. That must mean something, right? Yeah, it means something. I'm sorry, I'm being so rude. I am being so rude to our character. Okay, I crane my neck to peek inside the vast yard. Oh, it was this ghosty. To my surprise, something blue-looking suddenly darts from somewhere nearby. Kind of look like how the spirit things in Corpse Party looks, you know? When you just see them on the map, like when they're all little sprites or what. What was that? My voice may be drowned out by the rain, but it's enough for me to hear the fear in my own voice. I turn around looking for the place where I saw the blue thing. And from my peripheral vision, I see it again. A flame. A bluish-looking flame. What? My voice shakes with fear, and once again I realize that I am all alone in a dark and creepy forest. I feel tears well up in my eyes as I start running towards the mansion, panicking now. I I want to scream for the door to be open, but I'm too scared of anyone else hearing me. Running my fingers through my hair, I try to steady my breathing before knocking 3 times on the old wooden doors. So they should put like, I don't know, he's giving me Catboy energy. With a creaking sound, the door slowly opens to reveal half a face looking at me. A shocked face, to be exact. He didn't look too shocked to me. Before I could say anything, the face disappears inside and I hear the person running away. What the hell? I stand completely clueless to what I should do next. To my surprise, the door opens again with the same creaking sound. Ooh. A tall, young man stands between me and the door, looking at me suspiciously. I put on my best smile and open my mouth to speak, just to have the door slammed in front of my face. That was so rude. The nerve. Huh? If you don't want me, then Oh, you better let me inside. The ghosties. Strange flashes of blue dart around in my peripheral vision again, and I find myself desperately knocking on the door. Please let me in. What do you want? Please let me in. I'm not doing that. Please, you just have to let me in, please. The young man opens the door and looks suspiciously down on me. How tall is he? Staring at him, I could tell that he has no plans of letting me in whatsoever. My heart sinks like lead when the complete severity of my situation starts dawning on me. What did I do to deserve this? Nothing. We were in a landslide. I see the young man open his mouth, but before he can say anything, everything turns black all around me. We were knocked out. No, I'm kidding. We probably just passed out. I wake up to the feeling of a warm, fluffy blanket, so unlike the cold, damp feeling I had just experienced in my dream. Feeling the soft cotton of my head underneath me, I sigh. Oh, thank goodness it was just a dream. The scary forest, the rain, the blue flames I saw. For a moment there, I thought it was real. Victor, Vaughn, I think she's awake. The sudden voice snaps me out of my daydreaming, and I open my eyes to search for its source. The dark eyes of a dark-haired boy sitting next to my bed meets my gaze. With a start, I realize I'm lying down on an unfamiliar bed in an unfamiliar room with an unfamiliar boy sitting beside me. Who are you? We're in his house. That's kind of rude. We should introduce ourselves first. What are you? Where am I? What did you do to me? The boy looks visibly panicked now and immediately stands up from his chair. He's shot. Victor Vaughn. He's gonna cry. Who are you calling? I stretch my right arm towards the boy to point at him, only to realize that it's wrapped in a bandage from my shoulder to my elbow. I stop moving and realize that a slight hint of pain is emanating from my shoulder area. What? I look at the boy once more and recognize his face from earlier. You're that boy from earlier. He just stares at me, not saying anything. Tell me, what am I doing on this bed? I try to sit up, only to feel a jolt run through my leg. Ow! Don't move! Gently, as if to calm me down, he holds his hand out, palm forward. You're hurt. Having calmed down, I suddenly realize that I'm probably inside this boy's house. Did I faint? He nods, confirming my worry. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry for the trouble. Again, the boy just stares at me, quite expressionless. What's your name? Before he could reply, though, another voice comes from outside the room. Vern! The door opens and in comes 2 other young men, immediately heading towards the bed. For a moment, all of my worst fears seem to have materialized in my head. One of the men, the blonde, looks down at me, regarding me with a suspicious look in his eyes. I recognize him as the guy who wouldn't let me in earlier. I smile, preparing to open my mouth so I could thank him for letting me in. However, it seems to make him agitated. Just leave. Go away. What the hell? What? I told you, go away. Just as he was about to pull me from the bed, the other dark-haired man moves closer to him. Vaughn, you know better than to do that. He turns to me, his face a mixture of confusion and curiosity. Who are you? I open my mouth to answer, but the other guy, Vaughn, is his name, I think, moves in between us. Victor, you can't be serious. There's no need to learn this girl's name. Vaughn turns to me with daggers shooting out of his eyes. Out now. What? You heard me. Get out. Wait, you don't understand. Look, I'm really sorry for making such a ruckus earlier. I glance at the boy on the other side of the room. There's a storm out there, and I really need to... I don't care. Just get out. He takes a hold of my good arm, tugging it slightly upwards. What? No, please, you wouldn't want to make a girl wet, would you? Out. I pout sadly, putting on my cutest face. This always works whenever I'm asking for favors. It has 100% success rate, tried and tested. Vaughn stares at me for a moment before frowning. Out now. My mouth falls open as I realize that my foolproof tactic has just failed. I break free from his grasp and cross my good arm over my chest, holding onto my bandaged arm. What? You aren't such a gentleman, are you? The other man chuckles softly. Vaughn is not a gentleman at all, lady. I turn back to Vaughn, who is currently staring at me with his eyes of steel. Why aren't you leaving yet? What? I can't believe the rudeness of this guy. Come on, let's listen to her story. But Victor... The young man named Victor only shakes his head. She's hurt, can't you see? You can't just pull her out of bed. He points at me. You, what are you doing here? Me? Yes, you. You don't think I would ask my brother that question, would you? Fair. I need to stop hitting that. I look back and forth between them, realizing the resemblance. Just answer his question. Uh-oh. Hello, I'm Lizzie Lee, and I was on a hike, I think, and then I fell, and now I'm here, and nowhere else to go. So let me stay. If that's okay with you, I'd like to stay here for the night. Please and thank you. It doesn't really seem like the storm will let up anytime soon, so... You know, let me borrow a guest bed. Hospitality, come on. The two young men look at each other as if they're thinking what to do next. I bite my lip in anxiety. I'm already inside lying on one of their beds. Just let me stay. I'm not sure why they're so torn on whether or not they should let me stay. But if they won't let me stay, I'll be forced to stay the night outside. And if I go outside, I'm scared. You're scared of what? Are you scared of the rain? No. In my mind's eyes, I suddenly see a flash of blue appear. A shiver runs down my spine as I remember my earlier encounter in the forest. I'm scared of those blue things. But blue? The two men suddenly glance at each other with a frown on their faces. What do you mean blue? I saw some blue things out there. I'm scared. Victor closes his eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. Vaughn, on the other hand, keeps his arms crossed in front of him, looking extremely annoyed. I decide to ignore him for now, making a mental note to get back at him later. The older man opens his eyes, narrowing them a bit at me. Fine. Vaughn's eyes widen in surprise. You're allowing her to stay? He is a puppy dog. He gives puppy dog energy, and then the other boy's cat boy energy. I don't know what blonde boy gives off yet, but we'll figure it out. Vaughn, stop being such a meanie. A meanie. Victor, don't tell me this girl doesn't irritate you. I make another mental check. I can totally get back at this guy as soon as I can. Vaughn looks at me up and down, smiling. She's soaking wet. Let her stay the night. After all, she's already in bed. That's what I said, so... But Victor... Sorry, my eye was itchy. Suddenly, the younger boy from across the room runs behind Victor and looks at him with a panic in his eyes. Victor smiles and pats him on the head. Vern, it's okay. The boy Vern whimpers and looks back at me half pouting. Vaughn shakes his head, looking disgusted at the turn of events. Whatever. With another roll of his eyes, Vaughn stomps out of the room looking quite pissed. I smile at Victor. Thank you. That's alright, we were just in time actually. Just in time for what? Dinner. Oh? If you could still spare the energy to walk, I'd love it if you ate dinner with us tonight. Wow, thank you, but I wouldn't want to intrude on you guys. I mean, you already fixed me up, so I shrug, pointing at my bandages. You know, it's fine. It's fine, I don't need to eat. No, it's okay, I insist. It's my very own recipe, so I'd appreciate it if you give it a taste. And besides, I was a medical student. It's my job to take care of the injured. Oh, he has a medical background. That's cool. She's over here thinking like, I'm about to marry this doctor. You sure it's okay? I really don't want to disturb you guys too much. Of course. Turning to Vern, he smiles. Vern, please. Catboy, let me in. He doesn't care. Vern helps me get out of bed and assists me out the door, to walk out the door. He barely looks at me though, let alone speaks to me. I suppose he really is a quiet kid. Shy. Wow, look at this room. I look around me in wonder and amazement as we make our way through the house. I say house, even though mansion would be a more suitable term. If there was one thing I was right about, it's this mansion's ancientness. Dirty old paintings hang in the dusty walls, making everything look like a mini palace. We pass through a large vacated room with a beautiful chandelier up above. Come to think of it, I think this place could have been a private office once. You don't say. To the four of us continue walking inside the house, I realize how hollow and devoid of life the whole place seems. Here are three young men who seem to be at a peak of their lives, living in a decrepit old mansion in the middle of nowhere. Something about this strange setup gives me the chills. I glance at the three as we walk. They don't look any different or even dangerous though, especially Vern. The boy looks like he couldn't even hurt a fly. Finally, we arrive at the long dining table. To be honest though, it looks nothing like a dining table to me. The shelves of books lined up against the wall aren't helping either. The table near the windows, it's creepy. Ooh, yeah. It's kind of weird back there. Huh. I can always imagine someone sitting there and watching everyone as they ate. Victor tells us to take our seats wherever we want, and I end up sitting across from Vern and Vaughn. Victor sits across from us. After a bit, he stands up to leave. I try to look questioningly at the other two young men, but Vern won't meet my gaze, and Vaughn is looking at me too sternly. Sighing, I just close my eyes. Victor returns after a few minutes with a tray of food. He starts serving us quickly, much to my surprise. Oh, thank you. As he smiles as he hands me a napkin. Can you eat without help, or do you need one of us to assist you? I feel an embarrassed blush creeping up on my face. Oh no, I'm fine. I can eat with my left arm, don't worry. Say so. After he just finished setting the table, we all take a sip of the soup. Wow, you made this? It tastes wonderful. You think so? Aw, shucks. It's not bad. Not bad. I roll my eyes at the other guys' comments. It tastes really awesome. Turning to Victor, I smile. It's a good thing it's you who's cooking and not anyone else. I feel daggers go straight through my soul as Vaughn's steely gaze meets mine. I don't know if anyone would be able to not learn how to cook when they're always assigned a kitchen duty. Well, there are some people like that, and I'm not some people. He loves cooking, that's it. Dang. Hey, you love my cooking, don't you, Vern? It's not bad. Victor chuckles softly. The lull in the conversation gives me the opportunity to ask them about something that's been bugging me for a while now. I was just wondering, what are you three doing here? Wow, you can't just ask people when they're here. No, Vaughn suspiciously looks at me. What do you care? I flinch, forcing a smile on my face. Hey, it's the middle of nowhere. Of course we're somewhere, what did you think? But you're up in the mountains, so why? My voice falters and we all turn in the direction of Vern, who looks up at us with no expression on his face. Sorry. Without another word, he picks up the broken pieces of chinaware from the floor. Victor wipes his mouth with the napkin and sighs. Boys? He stops and sighs again. Vaughn gives me a death glare and I feel myself shiver. Shaking my head as if to dispel all the scary vibe coming from the blonde guy, I try to change the topic of conversation. Victor stops eating halfway, his spoon still in the air. Yes? I just wanted to thank you guys for taking care of me when I fainted. And for the bandages, of course. The first and last brother both look at each other, while the middle one looks like he couldn't care less. After a pause, Vern just smiles softly at me. We're just glad to help someone out. Vaughn rolls his eyes. Oh, we can definitely help someone out. Victor shoots his brother a disapproving look. As I glance at Vaughn, I sigh to myself. I am so obviously unwelcomed here. Me, my beauty, unwelcomed? My beauty, she is so full of herself. The nerve of these guys. Ugh, remind me to leave first thing in the morning. Oh my god. Hey, you. Huh? You leave first thing in the morning, okay? What? Oh, now we're not gonna leave. Hey. I have a name, you know. Victor chuckles, clearing his throat. He looks almost relieved somehow. Oh, that's right. It seems we forgot to properly introduce ourselves. I'm Victor. He looks at the other two expectantly, but I know that one of them is way too angry at me, while the other simply doesn't care enough to introduce himself to me. Victor's eyebrows furrow, but he just sighs and proceeds to introduce themselves to me. And these are my brothers, Grumpy Vaughn and Scaredy Cat Vern. See? Scaredy Cat. Cat energy. I'm not grumpy, Vaughn protests, glaring at me. And I'm not a scaredy cat. Sorry. Vern just blushes. Well, what do you know? Victor's eyes shine brightly as he smiles at me. And you? Lizzie Lee. Lizzie Lee? Yeah, I'm a half. A half what? Oh, a half. What, half annoying and half irritating? For real though. Or perhaps half an outsider and half unwanted guest. I feel my eyes widen at his words. Without wanting to, I feel my eyes starting to well up with tears. His eyes darken all of a sudden as he looks down at me, or perhaps half living and half. Victor bangs his hands on the table, causing all three of us to look at him. That's not the right way to treat a lady, Vaughn. To my surprise, Victor suddenly interrupts his brother, giving him a death glare. I don't care. Why couldn't we just let her soul get lost for eternity? His voice sends shivers down my spine. Both Victor and Vern stare at their brother in horror. Wait, what did you just say? While I don't exactly understand the full extent of what he said, I could definitely feel that it wasn't anything good. The three brothers all look at me surprised. What? Vaughn, what did you say? Lost for eternity? Vaughn's eyes still set harshly, but I see a hint of nervousness in his gaze. The youngest brother holds his utensils tightly. Oh well, time for bed. No, wait, Vaughn, why did you say that? Is there something about this place that I didn't know about? Lizzie, it's nothing important. It's bedtime. But... push it or forget it. We should probably forget it so they don't kick us out tonight. Let's forget it. Just forget it. Just forget about it. Okay, fine. I must have been imagining it then. I noticed Vern breathed a sigh of relief. Victor looked just as relieved, actually, as he lets out a shaky laugh. The hint of nervousness in his voice was pretty obvious. I wonder why they seem so secretive, though. Still, I don't want to push it. Even though Vaughn is a complete jerk, Victor is really nice and Vern seems relatively tame as well. The dinner goes on relatively uneventful, with the four of us just silently eating our meals. I do my best to discreetly look at my brothers. It's natural that I would be quiet since I am just a guest, but I just can't believe how quiet these three are. If I had to guess, I would never think in a million years that they were brothers. They just look too differently in my eyes. One has brown hair, one has black hair, and another one has blonde hair. Obviously dyed though. I can see his roots. She's so rude. Oh my god. Still, they don't seem like any normal family to me. I wonder what's going on. Ahem. Finally, after a few minutes, Victor clears his throat. So it looks like everybody's already done? Vern? Done. Alright. So now for our room assignments. Room assignments? Yes, do you have a problem with that? No. Good. Well then, if you don't mind, Vern, I'd like for Lizzie Lee to have your room during her stay here. Vern visibly flinches at his older brother's proposition. What a cute kid. He's probably nervous, knowing that a pretty woman would be staying in his room. Meanwhile, Vaughn looks quite amused. But, it's alright, Vern. Don't look too happy, Vaughn. You'll be staying in the nearest guest room. Vaughn's mouth falls open at Victor's words. The nearest guest room? But that room hasn't been used in decades. Oh, I'm sure you're just exaggerating. It's dirty. You do a good job cleaning up, believe me. Vaughn scoffs, looking at his brother in disbelief. If I may ask, Victor? Yes? Why does it have to be Vern's room? Oh, that's because it's the nearest one to the stairs. We wouldn't want to tire you out too much, of course. Oh, thank you. Plus, that's already where you're staying. You mean the bed where I woke up in is Vern's? I glance at the raven-haired boy, only to see him blushing ferociously. Vaughn looks at him with a teasing expression as he chuckles quietly. It's the first time he's got a girl in his bed. I glare at Vaughn. Turning to Victor, I do my best to ignore the middle brother. That does make a lot of sense, Victor. So, shall we go on? Vern helped Lizzie around, alright. She's still injured, so she's gonna need some help moving around. Vern just stares at him with an expressionless face. It's alright with you, isn't it? His younger brother nods, smiling slightly. Victor smiles again before standing up. He and Vaughn start walking toward one chamber of the place with me and Vern tagging along. Okay, and with this, guys, I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and end today's episode here, and see you in the next one. See ya.